This world is not yet ready for all that you will do. Your time will come, Diana. And everything will be different.
Citizens of the world, I'm here to change your life. Anything you want, anything you dream of, you can have it. You look like you saw a ghost. Diana, look at you. It's like not one day has passed.
I don't want to be like anyone. I want to be an apex predator.
You've always had everything, while people like me have had nothing. Well, now it's my turn.
Get used to it.
I've never been one for rules. The answer is always more. The way I fly, they will never find us.
I forgot to tell you.
What?
Radar.
Will they shoot at us?
Barbara, what did you do?
You know, I'm not so keen on this one. I figure you are, but you know what? I'm ready to go.
I think we can do better.
Parachute pants?
Yeah,
Does everybody parachute now?
The original Wonder Woman, I went with my buddy Dave G. We saw it in the theater. It was part of movie month. And I remember just thoroughly liking it and realizing if you get a good story and a good director, DC can make good movies. Damn it. And I was pumped for Wonder Woman 1984. I remember thinking, okay, it's not going to be out in. Is it? I think it might have been out in June, so I'm like, well, maybe I'll see it in the theater. Maybe I'll be able to see it for movie month. Then, of course, the world is a vampire, and the world just went on pause, and so did many movie releases. And it wasn't until last month at some point where we got word that Warner Brothers was like, look, we've waited long enough. On Christmas Day, you can go see Wonder Woman if you want in the theater, if you want to brave the world and do that. Or you could stay home and watch it on HBO Max. And I was excited because now I knew what I was doing Christmas night. So I'll give you a little Christmas Day. Christmas Day when I was a kid was like an all-day affair. You'd get up, spend some time with your family, visit a couple friends, go to your grandparents. From your grandparents, then you might go home. Then you go, from your grandparents, you go straight to your cousin's house, okay? Then you spend the day there. Then you go home for a little bit. Then you go to your aunt's house. And everybody on one side of the family visits. That's after spending with the other half on Christmas Eve. Now, it's a little different. Now, Christmas Eve, very quiet. Christmas Day, the morning, pretty normal. Then in the afternoon, we go to my brother's, spend time with his family. And look, I know you're not supposed to go anywhere for this Christmas and everything, but we're in this little bubble with us. We got the kids here doing remote learning. We see my brother enough. They go to work. Everyone's pretty much safely in a bubble, so we're not seeing anybody out of the ordinary. No traveling. He literally lives in a 5-minute. He lives on this next street over. I could walk there. I walk by his house all the time. So trust me, I'm being safe about this. Okay. But I told those kids, I said, listen, your uncle loves you. Him and Auntie give you all these gifts. This is great. But at a certain point, I'm going home. I'm leaving all this behind. And I'm watching Wonder Woman 1984. I had it like drilled into these kids' heads, 10-year-olds and 8-year-olds. I go, listen, guys, what am I doing tonight? Or the other day I said, what am I doing Christmas after I leave your house? What am I doing? You're watching Wonder Woman. Yes, I'm watching Wonder Woman. They knew what I was doing. They knew that was part of the plan. And when my brother was like, you didn't watch it already? I was like, no, it didn't come out till noon on Christmas Day. So I was all excited to see Wonder Woman 84. Walk my dog one more time. Everybody's sleepy. My wife's sleepy. Long day. Great. Everyone go to bed. Daddy turned on the big TV and he's watching Wonder Woman 1984 on HBO Max. And then I watched it. Now, this is a spoiler-filled podcast. I'm not going through the whole plot because I watched it on the 25th. I watched it days ago. Okay, and now it's the 27th. So it's been 2 days, and I haven't watched it again. But I wanted to talk about it. And mainly I wanted to talk about it for two reasons. One is it's in their plot-driven reasons. So I want to assume that you've seen this movie. Please don't listen any further if you have not seen Wonder Woman 1984. Okay, I'll give you in 3, 2, 1. All right, that's it. My conscience is clear. Anything I say now, you can't hold against me as being a spoiler because I'm just going to talk about the movie that you obviously saw already or don't care enough to ever see. So, Wonder Woman is basically immortal, right? Doesn't matter if she's in the 40s or in the 80s. She's not going to look any different. So, she's in the 80s now, which is a good idea because you can kind of get her more modern, and yet it's still before everything in Batman v Superman, everything before Justice League. So there's no, there's no chance of saying, wait, logically, how does this fit to the timeline? There's no mess up. There's nothing to worry about with that, which is nice. But then you see Chris Pine is going to be back, and we saw him get blown up in the original. And I'm thinking, well, how the hell are they going to do that? That was a weird one, too. Weird choices were made in this movie, and yet there was a lot to enjoy. The opening scene was a flashback to Diana, Wonder Woman, on her home island. I'm going to say it, Themyscira. Yes, I believe I nailed it. And it just showed her in a race. She's the youngest one in this race, but she joined this race, and she would have won, or she almost won, but she took a shortcut, and they didn't even let her win. And her mother is Robin Wright, right? And she says it's not about winning; it's about truth. The only thing that matters is truth. The truth is, the power. You'll see that someday. And that's just ingraining in her look. It's not about winning. It's about winning right. And if you did that, you wouldn't have won right. So you wouldn't have truly won. So that's all that, we didn't go back to that. I thought there was going to be more there, but she is not there anymore. She's in the 80s. She's working in a museum. Right away we see, we know who the villains are. It's Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian himself, playing Maxwell Lord, who is a character that I definitely have heard before. So it's I don't know that's the thing. I don't know a ton about all the Wonder Woman, lore. So Cheetah, I don't know anything about her. But I know she's a real character. Maxwell Lord, I don't know much about him, but I know, or anything about him, but I know he is a character from the comic books. The names are familiar to me. The actors, they got to play them. I thought both did a great job. I thought Kristen Wiig was fine. She did I don't want to say she did Kristen Wiig things, but she did. She did that little like, when she does that kind of like, oh me, what, like, self-conscious kind of not confident person, but she does that really good. And then she turned on like the confident side of like the one who all of a sudden has all these powers. I thought she was really good at that. I have not a bad thing to say about her. I thought that she, some people might say the special effects she had were a little off, but again, no, I didn't even care about that. It was some of these choices, though, some weird things in the movie. It was written by Patty Jenkins and Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns, a big time, comic book writer, and does a lot of stuff with like I think he does the CW stuff. He executive produces some of that stuff and writes some of it. And he's just big at DC Comics. But I don't know, some of the big picture stuff that they did in this, it didn't. And this is completely, look, this is like a nitpicking nerd, okay? I couldn't write a movie like this, so I'm not saying I could do anything better. But I'm just, this is what these podcasts are for, to nitpick about these things, and I'm nitpicking. And this isn't going to be a very long podcast. I just want to talk about the things that bugged me, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It's funny because I was so excited and so psyched for this movie. And then my cousin, he's like, well, and I said, I liked it. I didn't love it. And then his brother is a guy who does not like DC at all and likes to goad me about my DC love. And I told him the same thing. He's like, oh, that means it was horrible. I was like, no, it wasn't horrible. I enjoyed it. There's a lot to like in it, but there were just some things that made me go, eh? So I'm like, should I just focus on those things? Because I don't need to nitpick about the plot. You've seen the movie. You know the story. Wonder Woman, Diana Prince, great. Everything I like, just about everything she did, I liked. So there's this rock, okay? Was it the Dreamstone? Is that what it's called? I don't know. It just showed up because a mall jewelry store was a front for fine antiquities. And I guess this guy, Maxwell Lord, has been looking for this thing for a while. This is what I'm trying to understand. So he is a realtor, a real estate developer who basically is a TV personality trying to get you to invest in real estate because it's a front for money. It's like a Ponzi scheme. But he's basically bought up all these oil fields because he's trying to get investors to be like, look, we're going to strike oil and you're going to share in all these riches. He gets a lot of investors, but he has no oil to show for it. So I guess he's also trying to find this dream stone or this wish stone or whatever the hell this rock is that is basically allows you to make a wish for something. So the Wonder Woman stops these robbers from getting away. All the stuff is brought to a museum, and this Kristen Wiig also works at the museum, and they see the Dreamstone, and it's like, oh, basically it's from the old Egyptian times. It's been seen as something where you can it grants you wishes. Basically, she picks it up, and obviously thinks of a wish because some wind blows in her hair. Now the wind blowing, if you notice, is the call of like, oh, a wish has happened, because the wind blows every time a wish happens. So this wind blows. She goes. She has to go to this party because now we find out Maxwell Lord knows that they have the stone there, and so he wants to become a big benefactor in the museum. Makes a huge donation. So now they're putting on a party to celebrate at the museum. So Diane normally doesn't go, but now she's going to go because I forget why. Because she needs to know more about this Dreamstone, I think. and she doesn't trust Maxwell Lord. That's my understanding of this. He's going just so he can get the stone, right? That seems about right. He flirts with Kristen Wiig the whole time. She's smitten by him because she likes the attention. So when Kristen Wiig touches Barbara, I believe, she touches the stone. She wishes to be more like Diana. Now, she only does that because she sees Diana as this, this pretty, this strong, confident woman. She sees that, but the Soul Stone, or whatever the forget this thing is called, the Dream Wish Stone, the stone knows exactly what she is. So when she says, "I want to be like Diana," it wishes. It gives her the wish of, gives her strength. So we see montages of her going to the gym and fighting, and beating up this guy who attacked her. All these cool things that she can do now, and she doesn't realize she can do them because she made that wish. At the same time, it seems like Wonder Woman made the wish of Chris Pine's character coming back. She wants Steve, is it? She wants him, Steve Trevor, to come back. And at a party, here's the weird thing. This is choice number one that makes no sense to me. So this dude shows up at the party, and he's like, "Diana." And you're like, "Wait, what's going on?" You think you're going to see Chris Pine. It's not. And it's this other guy, and he's like, "Diana." And she's like, "Oh, I don't know you." He goes, and he starts saying these lines that she would only know, whatever they were, from Chris Pine. He's like, "We have all the time in the world," or something like that. She's like, "What? Huh?" And then a little spin-a-rooney with the camera, and now we see it's Chris Pine. She's like, "How? I don't know, but it's me." And they start kissing. So he quantum leaped into some other dude's body. And I want to credit Sean Robert on Twitter because he posted a picture. He said, spoiler-free Wonder Woman summary. And it was like, it showed a picture of Catwoman, a picture of Quantum Leap, a picture of Superman flying, and I don't remember what the fourth picture was, but it was all pretty funny. And it all, it fit, but it was that's basically what happened here. So she obviously made a wish with the stone for Chris Pine to come back. The wish was granted, and what it did was bring him back into the body of someone else. And I'm wondering, does she actually see Chris Pine, or does she just she believe it, so she just well, look, this, I just see you as my you're Chris Pine now, you're Steve Trevor. Or because from there on out, except for one look in the mirror, we see Chris Pine as Steve Trevor. We see Steve Trevor the whole time. Does she actually see that? Is the magic working, whatever it is, and everyone else sees this other random dude? Very weird. That was weird choice number one. Because, they do it. Oh, they do it. And then it's there's a montage of him trying on 80s clothes, and him learning all these things of it's the 80s, but to him it's the future, finding out all these things about going to space. All that stuff I really like. Chris Pine is really funny in this. Not I shouldn't say really funny. He's really charming. He's just good at it. He fits the role perfectly. But that was just a weird thing that they put him in this guy's body, and there's no real consequence of it. And meanwhile, Kristen Wiig is getting stronger and stronger. And Maxwell Lord goes to the house, goes to the museum, kind of flirts with her, kisses her, and then he takes the Soul Stone. It's not the Soul Stone. Whatever the hell it is. The Dream Stone, the Wish Stone. Takes it to himself. Goes back to his business. That his business is failing. Nothing's working out. Like he's losing investors. He's losing money. He might be going to jail. And he gets the Wish Stone. And this is the part where I was like, oh, pretty cool. I'm yawning because it's late. He doesn't wish for riches. He wishes to become the Dream Stone. And I thought that was kind of cool. All of a sudden, the stone just crumbles to pieces. And now he is the wish maker, the wish master. And I wonder, is that part of his comic, like powers, that he can make wishes? I recently watched The Dark Knight, and I talked about how that's in a very real world, like this could actually be happening. And this movie is much more like the fantasy of, the Amazon, the Themyscira, the Wonder Woman, the powers. And, of course, this is like really special powers. But I'm a big fan of Pedro Pascal, from Game of Thrones, from Narcos, and The Mandalorian. I mean, the dude is he's a great actor. And I thought he did a good job in this, as like he could get anything he wanted from them, because he would say like, oh, his secretary's like, do you need more help? She's like, yeah. He goes, tell me you wish to have more help. She goes, I wish to have more help. Then your wish is granted. So like he couldn't just give you what you wanted. You had to wish for it from him. But then I like that the more they wished from him, the weaker he kind of got. It was taking its toll on him. Why? I'm not entirely sure, but it was. But then he started telling people, okay, great, I'm giving you this, but I'm taking this from you. And you start to realize that he can wish for something. If you wish for something, then the wish granter can also take something from you, I guess. Because here's the part where, this is the first part where I was like, huh? What? They're at they realize now that, he's the wish person, because they chase him down and he goes, she's like, where? I need the wish stone. He's like, you're looking at it. Or he said something like that. So now they realize, oh my goodness, the wish stone's in him, because they went to his office and they found like the remnants of the stone. And at one point, Wonder Woman's like, oh my goodness, they're trying to bring back this god, right? I believe they say they're trying to bring back this god, and these wishes are just like, the easy way to get there. And we never talk about this god again. Never see the god again. It's never brought up again, I believe. And then, while they were out there, trying to chase this guy down, trying to get the stone, Wonder Woman gets hurt. And she's like, my powers aren't doing very good. And so they just decide that, oh, wait a second, if you wished for me, to now, you got your wish, but now the wish is taking something from you. It's a monkey paw scenario, I think they said, where you get your wish, but you also lose what is most precious to you, or something like that. They just decided what the rules were going to be, and now that was the rule. They kind of, no, there was nothing that said it. They were like, it's probably like this, and then all of a sudden it was like that. It's like, oh, so wait, I'm back, and now that I'm back, you don't have your powers. And of course, that Wonder Woman is like, you're the most precious thing I want in this world. I don't want to give you up. She almost wanted to give up her powers just to keep him around. Again, keep in mind that they have essentially killed a man. They've ruined a man's life. They've taken a man's life so that Steve Trevor could be inside his body. And Wonder Woman was okay with that. And she was also okay with losing her powers for him. It wasn't until things got really bad that she realized she needed her powers they'd also decided at some point that I will get my powers back if I renounce my wish. That's all I got to do. I don't know if she read this in the secret, secret book. At one point she was reading things. Did I miss something where it gave specific rules? I don't think I did. But I could be wrong. I feel like they just decided, well, this is probably what the rules are. And then, boom, those were the rules. So maybe I got to rewatch that. But I feel like that was something also that bothered me. And yet, the scene where she does kiss him goodbye and say, I renounce my wish. And you see her kind of limping, and then like her wounds clear up, and then she starts running really fast. I thought that was pretty cool. There's plenty of stuff that I liked about this. I liked how they explained they kind of created the invisible jet. I enjoyed that. I liked that little idea. That was cool. A lot of the action fighting scene, all really cool stuff. Like when they show up, Pedro Pascal goes to the Middle East to take this guy's oil from him. Then a fight ensues. That's where Diana gets hurt. Now, I liked all that, except at one point there was these kids just playing in the street with all these trucks coming. I was like, someone should tell those children to move. Wonder Woman picks them up. Then she kind of lets go of her lasso because again she can, her powers are weakened, and then she rolls around on the ground. Those children should have been crushed to death. The way that they rolled, or at least they should have been completely, terribly wounded. But instead they were fine. Thankfully for that. I love the mall fight at the beginning where Wonder Woman just beats all these people up and saves these kids, but nobody knows she exists still because she knocked out all the cameras. And remember, this is 1984. Nobody's got cell phones. So, unless someone quickly grabbed their Polaroid or someone just happened to have a camera in the mall, and again, that's not like the way the world we live in now, it just became rumor and hearsay. It's like there was some strange woman who saved everybody. I liked all that stuff. The Kristen Wiig fight with Wonder Woman, I like that too. Wonder Woman shrugging off the wings on that gold suit, that was like, oh, that's a cool scene. They fighting, they're beating each other up. I'm all in on all that. And then, there's a fight underwater, and there's electric. Oh, hello, my dog is just sitting on my chest now. There's a fight underwater, and Wonder Woman brings the woman underwater. And they both get electrocuted, but it doesn't hurt Wonder Woman. That makes sense. It wouldn't hurt Wonder Woman. But wait a minute. Why would it hurt Cheetah? Why would it hurt Kristen Wiig if it hurt Wonder Woman? Because she wanted to be like Diana, so she has the strength of Diana. Why would it hurt her? That's another thing. I'm not sure. But it didn't kill her. That's another thing. She gets electrocuted, and then you see her float away like she's going to die. And then they kind of pull her up and leave her there. And that's the last thing we have to worry about her. Now, I realize at one point she's Kristen Wiig, then all of a sudden she's a cat lady. And I was trying to figure out, wait, when the frig did that happen? And I think it's when she was on the plane with Maxwell Lord. She basically said, I want more. I heard she wanted more, or he offered more, so to get more power. So I guess you can have more than one wish, I suppose. I'm not entirely sure. But the big climax was he was granting, so he goes to this bunker where they can broadcast basically to everywhere in the world. They could break into anywhere and broadcast live. And it's there for emergencies or whatever, but he finagles his way in. He's already taken the power of the president, which excuse me, I thought that was kind of cool. All the ways that he could use his power, I thought was really cool. And it reminds me of how much I enjoyed the way Kilgrave used his powers in the first season of Jessica Jones. Really enjoyed that. And I enjoyed his kind of way of manipulating the rules to work for him, so that he goes. But like, I felt like, did he have to look these people in the eye and touch them? And now they're saying it sends particles through the air, so it's like connecting. So I can now do it over the TV. I felt like that was bending the rules a little bit. I don't know. I'm a nerd, but he basically is saying he's on the television saying, think of your wishes. I will grant everyone your wishes. And people at one point say, I wish you dropped dead to someone, and someone drops dead. All these things are happening, right? Wonder Woman's trying to fight him off, saying, no, you can't do this because this is going all over the world. It's escalating to the point where they think someone's going to shoot off nukes. This country thinks someone's going to shoot off nukes, so they start to turn the trigger and they start firing nukes. And all of a sudden it's going to be World War III. It's going to be the apocalypse, going to be the nuclear, end of the world. But while this is all going on, Diana's trying to get to him with his whip, with her lasso of truth. And it's like all this craze is going on. He's like, I've got unlimited power. And he's telling you, I'll grant anything you want. And part of it was, I want your health. So that was even cool. He was now using their wishes to get back their health, because again, that's the rule. He can take from them if he gives to them. So he was getting his health back because he was starting to fall apart, and it was kind of cool seeing that, like his eye, blood vessel. That was gross. But Diane is like, you must tell them to revert. Revert their wishes, renounce their wishes. You have to tell them that. He's like, why would I? It's the only thing that will save the world. We have to renounce our wishes. Everything will go back to the way it was. Think of your son. So she's saying you have to revert. Like, all this craziness is going on. This is the other thing that bothered me. And she goes, you have to revert your wishes. This is what you have to do. She's like talking in the low voice. And I'm like, who is she talking to? I can barely hear her. How the hell can he hear her? And he's like, I would never do that. And she says, I wasn't talking to you. And then you look down and she's got the lasso of truth attached to him. So that allowed her to, I guess, broadcast through the lasso out to the world to renounce your wishes, and that will save everything. And people listened. So they start renouncing their wishes. And nukes are falling from the sky. They're like literally disappearing because people are renouncing their wishes. And then the sun was going to, like the Maxwell Lord's son was going to die, and he realizes this. So he's like, I renounce my wishes. And he renounces his wish that gets rid of his powers, which should renounce everything. Like there's this wall that got built in like Egypt that falls. All these missiles are disappearing in the sky, all because all they did was renounce their wishes. I mean, at this point, they knew that's what happened. But what if they were like, renouncing your wish doesn't do anything? It's too late. You made your wish. Like, they built this rule in, and then that became the big outcome of the movie. And I just wish that, I wish that Diana screamed it so that people could hear it. And I don't remember either villain getting their comeuppance, either villain getting arrested or taken away. Like, all of a sudden we see Kristen Wiig, and I think she was no longer a cat lady. I think she was just back to herself, kind of just staring off into the sky like, what have I done? And we see Maxwell Lord chase down his kid, and he goes, I'm sorry, I'm not a good person, I love you. And that's it. Nobody takes him away. So I guess both of them got away with something. I don't know. Then Diana runs into the guy who they stole Steve Trevor from. I mean, Diana, you kind of did it with this guy. With using, with Steve Trevor's body. That is invasive, to say the least. So that part bothered me. Those three things bother me the most. The way they brought Steve Trevor back. Why don't they just have him show up? Like, why don't they just, instead of him going into some other dude's body, it just created, like, dumbness. It just created an unnecessary extra thing. Just have him be like, I don't know, I just woke up and, I wish he was back. Just boom. I woke up in a field. I woke up on the desert. I woke up, in the last place that, I was happy, or whatever crap that is. Who cares? They could have done anything. Instead, they quantum leaped him into a dude. They Samuel Becketed him into some other dude. And that didn't stop Diana from jumping his bones. And then, of course, they run into each other for like a comedic effect that he's dressed in some of this wild things that Chris Pine thought was really cool, but Diana thought was really cool, but Chris Pine didn't like. And now we see the real guy in it, and it's like great. And then I think she just walks off, right? Then we get this mid-credit scene. So we talk about earlier in the movie, Diana has this. We see her wearing this giant gold like armor, and Steve's like, "What is this?" She goes, "That's the armor left of my people. There's this ancient warrior. When we fought off all the men to go off and be by ourselves, she stayed behind to make sure that we were safe. She stayed behind and kind of kept them busy, I guess." Because they all just kept hitting her. Instead of turning around and chasing the women, the other Amazons, they just kept hitting her. And he goes, "Oh, whatever happened to her?" And she goes, "I don't know. She was a great woman, and I don't know what happened to her. But all I was able to track down was this armor." When did you do that? How'd you do that? Like, give me 5 minutes of that. That'd be cool. How did you find this armor? It's just, I have the armor because I was looking for it and I found it. Where? I don't know. Is it back in the Themyscira? I don't know. But she's got this cool armor, and it is badass looking armor. And they show the scene, and we see this woman's eyes in the armor. We don't know who this person is. Then we get to the final scene of the movie, and something like happens where this light post almost falls on this person, and a hand goes up and catches it. And this woman's got long black hair, so we think it's Diana. We think it is our Wonder Woman. And they're like, "You saved my child." And the woman turns around, and it's Linda Carter. Linda Carter, of course, played Wonder Woman in the old 70s show. And I think she is the person inside the armor, right? That's who that is. Because she said her name, I believe. I think she said her name, and it's the same person. I got to see this movie again. And how did you do that? She goes, "Oh, it was easy. I just used my own, the momentum of this. It's very easy if you could try. It's very easy to do." She didn't want to give away who she was. And then she's smiling at this person. Then she looks directly at us in the camera and gives a little wink. Look, that's fun, I guess. Looking right into the camera and giving a little wink. But it was also a little cheesy. Like, wait, what the hell is she doing? Why did we just do that? There's so much I did like about this movie. But those little things are just in the back of my mind like, huh? And I see that it had a 75% Rotten Tomato score, and then it went down to a 65%, so I feel like the more people that saw it, the lower the percentage is going. Apparently it made a bunch of money already at the theater, which is crazy, considering I'm never going to a movie theater again. Let's not say never. But with everything going on in this COVID world, it somehow has made $88 million. And they're already fast-tracking Wonder Woman 3, from what I understand, which is perfectly fine. And guess what? I'll see it, and I'll be so excited to see it. Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot already proved to me they can make a great movie, and they can make great moments. And this movie just had a couple of things where I was just like, but it didn't make me hate the movie, and I definitely want to watch it again. It's a long one, though, 2.5 hours. But I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I spent my Christmas night watching it. And I spent plenty of time with my niece and nephew. So I didn't leave anybody early. Believe me. Believe me. Believe you me, mister. I had a great Christmas. I hope everyone else had a great Christmas. And, this was, there's no Batman in this movie, so I wasn't waiting to watch this again for big screen Batman. I just wanted to talk about this separately as its own thing before we get to the new year. But Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. Keep listening to the podcast as more Batman's coming. 2021, there's going to be a lot of stuff at Geek Mentality, not just movie month. I can't wait for you guys to listen, and I can't wait to start doing it. But until then, my friends, here is my wait. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Geek Mentality. Now here it is, my theme song.
This is my podcast, I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. 'Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans not experts.